He was lynched from this bridge for raping a white woman who he had never even met. Welcome to White Black History. Things you weren't taught in school that are part of your everyday life. Today, we're going to talk about the Ed Johnson Memorial. So this memorial I pass all the time. I actually cross the bridge, which is part of the memorial itself, pretty constantly. Ed Johnson was just one of 4,400 people who were lynched between 1857 and 1950. Those are the known ones. There's probably, absolutely guaranteed, thousands more. Now this bridge connects the north and south end. The north end was primarily African American, the south end was industrial and white. Ed Johnson was a laborer. He worked on this end of the shore, but he lived on the other. A local man accused him, incorrectly, of raping a woman who he had never met for a bounty of $375. He was just trying to collect the reward. Multiple black and white witnesses confirmed that he was working at the time of the event. He gets arrested, he gets taken to jail, and a mob forms outside. Then they move him from Chattanooga to Nashville, which is 4 hours as of current vehicle times. After that, the mob attacked that jail. Now, a sheriff and a judge were up for re-election at this time. That's important because they were supposed to be tough on black crime at this time. Mr. Johnson gets assigned 3 Caucasian attorneys, only one of which was ever handled a criminal case. Ed Johnson is tried by an openly hostile group of white Chattanoogans. People who are from where the crime happened, who don't look like him, who have preconceived notions. And you were white in 1906. There's no way you weren't racist. The judge bypasses all these people saying it wasn't him, gives him a guilty verdict, sentences him to death. I'm gonna read you an exact quote. His lawyers advised him to accept the sentence, recommending it was better to die in an orderly way, better than to appeal and face the lynch mob. Bonus points. A white attorney named Noah Pardon, who was already working the case, convinced the most prominent black attorney in the area at the time, Styles Hutchins, to jump on the case. I don't want to get this part wrong, so I'm going to read it. Styles then unsuccessfully appealed to the Tennessee Supreme Court, and then they petitioned to the United States Supreme Court based on the fact that the fair trial had been violated. This led to him being one of the lead black counsels for the first time ever in a Supreme Court case. However, as history has shown us, they decided at the Supreme Court level that death sentence it is. At this time, they stayed his execution, and a sheriff was assigned to ensure his safety while they potentially reconsidered the verdict. That was March 18th. The very next day, a white mob storms in. Literally storms into the jail. Sledgehammers, crowbars, whatever it took, they break into the cell. Those are actual tools used. They dragged Ed Johnson 6 blocks, bound in rope, to hang him from this bridge, only to unload all of their rifles into him as he hung until their rifles severed the rope. I'm gonna read you this last part. Hamilton County Sheriff Joseph Shipp had taken no action to protect Johnson. Despite rumors of a lynch mob, he had given most of his deputies the night off and refused to seek reinforcements from the National Guard or city police. After a reporter alerted him to the attack in progress at the jail, he walked into the jail and stood by as they assaulted and took this man out for his lynching. This was the first and only trial held in the Supreme Court's history in the entire United States. That sheriff and 5 other parties were found guilty. They all served very brief prison sentences, and then upon returning home, this sheriff was greeted with what was known as a hero's welcome and was instantly reelected into sheriff. 2,000 people attended Ed Johnson's funeral, and both of the attorneys who supported him had to flee from Chattanooga based on the threats they were receiving for their lives. But that's white black history, right?